Okay, so our secret mitered dovetail for exercise 40. Now this looks a little bit tricky because it's kind of like a dovetail, but we need to add on our mitered piece here so that when they go together, you can't actually see the dovetails. So let's just start sketching. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw this first piece from the top down. So it's going to be 19 by 140, not 150, 140. And then we're going to cut off that 45 degrees. Now, where it gets tricky here is our 45 degrees needs to be 19 millimeters from the end. And this should automatically be 45 then, because it's 19 this way by 19 that way. We're going to finish our sketch there. And we're just going to extrude him up 140. So there is our first piece. Now our second piece is pretty much the same, just with dovetail. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move or copy while we're already here. Free move, create copy. I'm just going to drag him that way. And we'll work him out later. So that's our second piece there. So now we have to try and figure out how to draw in these dovetails and extrude them back. So the hardest part here is going to be the distance from here at our corner. So let's draw off this face. And we're going to come in and just start drawing our dovetails as best as we can. So we're going to draw in these gaps here, which we have a few measurements for. And we'll just see how we go. So we need to draw them just from this rectangle out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down and I'm firstly going to draw in that 3mm gap, I reckon. So that rectangle is this section at the top here. Doesn't need to line up at all because we're going to come back through and put a rectangle down that way. And I reckon that rectangle we put in now, and we're going to make him 4mm wide, because I'm going to assume that this top slope 4x4 from top corner means that that section is 4mm that way. So those are the two bits we're not going to cut out. So when we look at it this way, they're not going to get cut out at all. So then I can just go and draw in my dovetails. I'm going to come down a distance, and then we're going to come out to here. Something like so. And then we're going to have our dovetail. We're going to come out to here. And then all three of our dovetails are the same. So let's just draw one, dimension him, and then we'll try and duplicate him using the pattern tool. So we know that from here to here has to be 36. And we just need to lock this rectangle back in. So this one needs to be on that corner there. And so now he's locked in. So we've got our 36 there. We don't have any other measurements floating around here, but we know there's going to be 14mm between the next one. So we're going to use our pattern tool. And I'm just going to pattern these two out. And we need 3 of them. We're just going to drag it down until it looks about right. So there's 45. If I go minus 48, probably a little bit too far. Minus 46. That's looking pretty close. We might go okay there. And we can probably draw in our rectangle at the bottom here as well. So we know that that's just 3mm tall. And that there is looking pretty close. So I reckon we say that that's about right because we don't have all the information here. So we're going to finish our sketch. Okay, so now we've got our sketch done. What we need to do is do our extrude. So we need to do 2 extrudes. So we're going to do the first one, and we need to have our holes, which are these parts in here. So these holes. So I'm going to extrude them back first. So it's this one, this one, this one, and this one. And we're going to extrude them back this way. And we're going to go minus 15. Why minus 15? Because this is 19 thick. And this 4x4 from the corner means it needs to stop 4 in from that back edge. So 19 minus 4 is 15. So there we go. Now, it looks really weird here But the reason it looks weird is because we haven't actually extruded our dovetails yet. So I need to go back into my sketch where I've drawn them all out. I'm going to extrude the opposite pieces now. And this time, instead of cutting anything, we're going to extrude them out. So I'm actually going to choose to an object. I'm going to choose to this face, and it should add in our dovetail pieces for us. If I turn my sketch off now, you can see there's my dovetail pieces with the holes for the pins to slot into and my 45 joint. So it does look a little bit complicated, but if we get this sketch right here, then we should be able to make our holes for our pins and then also create our tails at the same time. So we just need to make one more adjustment to this piece over here, and that is because we have our angle here, we actually need to add on the extra piece sticking out. So you can see on here, we've got this piece sticking out. We need to add that same piece here so that when we cut out our pins and tails, we actually get these pieces sticking out here. Otherwise, it's just going to cut in on that angle. So I'm going to sketch off this face. I'm just going to choose that, and we're going to go back 15, and we're going to go across 15 as well. And so that'll just add on the extra little section there that we need to be able to cut things out of it. So if we come down here, 140, we're going to join it on. And it looks a little bit funny, but you'll see by the time I rotate everything around and join them together, it should cut it out okay. So we have body 1, body 2. So to assemble these, we need to make them components. So right click, create component, right click, create component. I'm going to right click component 1 and click ground. And then this one here, to make it a little bit easier, I'm going to click move or copy. I'm just going to click on him here. I'm just going to rotate him around, not that way, sorry. We're going to go this way, 180 degrees. So we're facing the correct direction. And it should just make it a little bit easier to join together. So when we join these, we're going to take this top corner, and we want him to join with that top corner there. Now they're facing and aligned that way, which is fine, but we also need to rotate him here because he's actually going to come in at a 90-degree angle. Now it looks a little bit funny because we have these sections that are overlapping, but that is now our last step where we use our combine tool and we target this one, which doesn't have anything cut out of it, using this one with our cut and keep tools. And now, if I reveal this, I should be able to see that that there is exactly the same as this one over here. So I've got all my dovetails cut in there. I've got my little triangle at the top there. I've got my miter slot. And if I reveal the other one, they fit perfectly. And they're nicely hidden dovetails in my secret mitered dovetail joint there. And that's exercise 40 completed.